Hello, my name is Mercury, and welcome to this brand new episode of Media Buffet. It's a lot of fucking spit in that take. Anyways, today I'm alone, and I'll be discussing the second season of the '90s Iron Man TV show. I did it! I fucking did it! I did it! I finished this fuck ass show. I finally did it. It took me so long. This is not the show. Okay, I know that what I said about last time I did a review on the Iron Man show. I said that the reason why it took me so long to get episodes out is because this show fucking broke me. Um, I could say that's the same in here, but I don't. I just fucking lazy. I just fucking lazy. That was not it. It was just not it. I could stomach this one. I could actually stomach this one, which is impressive. Anyways, you might be noticing that I'm in the audio quality is fucking terrible, compared to the last two episodes, or maybe you can't hear the background too much, so you don't hear anything else. But you know what it is. You know how it is. I'm here in the fucking shitty space again, where I have to keep the AC on, or the echo comes through the mic. So that's fun. And the AC isn't one of those fucking. It isn't one of the the ones that are silent anymore. No, it's one of like the big ones that go on the wall. It works, but like goddamn. But yeah, I'm here, and double whammy of bullshit. I forgot where I'm staying at right now. I forgot my computer, my laptop charger. So number one, I can't do anything. Like homework and shit. But number two, 'cause I have it all there, and it's all like digital and shit. But number two. That's where all of my that's where all of my notes for the podcast are. Sure, I can pull them up on the old phone, but the app that I'm using to record this doesn't record over, doesn't do well recording over over other apps. It just kind of it just at some point it just goes off. Sure, I can take a peek, but I don't want to do that. I use Google Docs for that, so it's on all my devices, but I just don't want to do that, peek at every time. So I wrote them down. That's what you heard at the beginning of my fucking pencil. That's my pencil hitting a notebook. This is the first time I've used a notebook in so long on these fucking episodes. But yeah, I have a notebook. I used to use a notebook, but now it's so much easier just to have it on digital, in a digital format. Because I don't have to write it. I mean, I have to write it down, but it's not filling up a fucking notebook. It's not filling up a notebook. What I use for that is I had a notebook that was called unrelated, but I had a notebook that was called a filmmakers or something notebook. And it had it was you could note down what you watched, the rating you gave it, how many stars you gave it, and it gave a star for each thing, direction, cinematography, cast, all that shit. And they already want me to give your notes. I used it for that. I stopped using it when I discovered the brilliance of both letterboxed, serialized, and backlogged. Which I've heard some people actually recently. I've heard some people have a disdain for backlog. I already put effort into backlog, so I'm not gonna go on other sites. But yeah. I'm gonna stick there, I guess. Maybe I'll become the biggest backlog user. I'm fucking not. But yeah. The most avid backlog user, but that's not happening. That's not happening. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I discovered the brilliance of review sites like Letterboxd, Serialized, Rate Your Music, and Backlog, and just writing down my notes on Google Docs. I just like a because back then I didn't have a laptop. Didn't have a laptop and like a good one. And I still have my old one actually, and I got one and that's what I used until that shit broke down, and now I have a new one which is so much better. God damn it! There goes my notebook. Anyways, Iron Man season 2. I think you can tell by the tone of my voice that this didn't break me as much as the first season, and I'll go over why. But yeah, it surprised. It's like watching this. It surprised me how much I could stomach it. I was watching I think I mentioned the Iron Man episode, like the first season, but like I just couldn't stomach it. I was watching like one episode a day. And here I could actually like stomach more than one. If I did. If I like watched more than one episode a day. Like I stomach more than one episode a day. It wasn't just fucking doing nothing, just die, trying to die. Just wanting to die watching that shit. No. In here, yeah, there's stuff, there's substance to this show. But I do have one major problem that does knock this whole thing down, and I'll get into that. But let's start off with what we always start off with: the visuals and action. The animation in this season is so much better than the first. It is genuinely so much better. It's on the same level as like X-Men. Like what I said was going on like X-Men like season 3 or something, or like something like that. Like the animation is of superior quality to what we got in the first season, because that was a whole different fucking beast. that was terrible animation. It was like the cheapest form of animation they could get. It was like it looked ugly. They had that like ugly CG transformation. That was like the only time they used CG, and then they fucking like left that behind at some point. It was bad. The animation was so bad. They reused a bunch of shit. The characters like barely moved. It was atrocious. It was atrocious. So terrible. So terrible. But it was there. It was there. It was there. But here it's a lot better. It's a lot more colorful. Like it's shaded. It's actually shaded. It's the movements are a lot more fluid. The action is much more enjoyable than it was in the first season. There's actual combat going on in here. It's not just like fire one blast and that's it. No, there's like actual combat. There's like a budget here. And I know why. This show, I don't know specifically, but this show had like a was like given to another company to produce it for season 2. And it does feel like that. It does feel like not a completely different show. Actually, no, it does feel like a completely different show. It really does. It feels like, even though they're tied to what happened in season 1, it's a lot better. Like, it's substantially better than what we got in there. And it feels like they cared about making a good, like a passable show with what they had. Which, I mean, like, like I mentioned it last time. I'm pretty sure, like Iron Man season 1 episode. This show was made before Iron Man became a big character for Marvel. I don't know if this show had like good viewership back in the day. I'm gonna guess not, because it didn't get renewed for seasons for third season. When for example like X-Men and Spider-Man, which Spider-Man's not gonna be our next one, but it's the one after the next one. After this one, I'm gonna say right now, after this one, I will be watching the Fantastic Four show that was also released at the same time as this one. Like it was part of like this big Marvel like action hour program where it had Iron Man. It had Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and some other like unrelated show. I'm pretty sure, like unrelated to Marvel, and it was like the Marvel Action Hour or whatever. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, like the animation. I don't know where it was. Oh no, wait, yeah. Do I know? But yeah, no. Next up is Fantastic Four, and then after that it's Spider-Man. And I've heard that Spider-Man is like, I don't know if Spider-Man's gonna be the best one. I've heard it's probably better than this shit. It's probably better than this shit. Probably gonna be better than Iron Man. I don't know if Fantastic Four. I checked Serialized, which might not be the most. It might not be the most reliable source, but it is for, at least for me, it is like shows and to learn how to see how many people watched a certain show or like their rating in general. I don't know why I don't just go on IMDb, but maybe it's better here. But but like I went there and it has a not substantially, but like a slightly higher rating than Iron Man like as a whole show. So there's that. There's that at least. But yeah, going back to like the animation and the action, it's just more entertaining. It's just better. It's just better animated. I don't think. To be honest, I think it's. I don't know if it's better. I think it's better than like the X-Men stuff, because it's like X-Men the animated series. Like it doesn't reach the same levels as like X-Men '97. Like let's be fucking for real here. But it's a '90s. It's not gonna have the best animation of all time, you know. But it's still like I think the action, they obviously had to. I think with this show they had to have a more like heavy emphasis on the action, because X-Men was really big in the '90s. It could carry its own show on its back. I mean, how fucking the big shows, like the big characters of Marvel by then, the trifecta, the trio were Wolverine, Spider-Man, and the Hulk. That was the big three of Marvel. So I feel like a lot of these other shows had to carry their weight on the action, and I feel like this show does that better than X-Men. X-Men focuses more on the characters, which is also fine. I like that about X-Men, that it focuses on the characters. But in here, it needed that focus on the action, and I think it does it well. Fuck off, bug. There you go. Okay. Alright, anyways, I think that's it. Let's talk about the characters. And I don't have to fucking split them into just two categories. I can actually talk about characters this time. Starting with Iron Man. Iron Man is actually a character. I just said that, like, these characters are actually characters. But, like, Iron Man is an actual character. I feel like this is Tony Stark. Maybe not to the same extent as, like, the movies eventually grew him to be. And definitely a much more family-friendly version of Iron Man. I know by this time, like, Demon in a Bottle already came out, and there's a whole thing around there, like with his origin story. It's a little bit more mature. But in here, I feel like Iron Man is an actual better character than he was in season one. There are some weird things that happen with his character, like some weird like quirks. I feel. But I do like that in here they do develop him as a character, and we have him go through things that affect him throughout the show, like what happens in Armor Wars, where he becomes so obsessed with not getting his tech and like with getting tech with getting his tech out of the wrong hands that he starts going after heroes. I like that a lot. I don't know if that's what happens in the Armor Wars. That's maybe what happens in the Armor Wars. Oh, okay. That's maybe what happens in the original Armor Wars. Like you know, like run. But I like that. I like that about the show that either made that up or I acted it. I feel like it worked really well. But yeah, no, Iron Man as a character, I don't remember much about like the earlier episodes. To be completely honest, I have to think about those. But yeah, no, like I like Iron Man a lot as a character. So like in not like a lot. That might be an over exaggeration. I have to lay the groundwork. I'm going to kind of praise this show. I'm gonna praise this season. However, do not let me deceive you. Don't misconstrue me. This is still not good. This is still not good. When I say I like a lot, it's in comparison to the first season. It like as a show, it's fine until like the last 2 episodes. Like this show is still like even the action is better than the X-Men stuff. I like X-Men more because X-Men is actually about like it's actually more interesting than this show. This show I feel like at its best is like on the same level as the last season of X-Men the animated series, which I ranked at a C. This show's best is still C tier for X-Men. I don't want to like I don't want to get it in your head that I feel like this is amazing. No, it's not. It still doesn't reach those levels of being good, but it is a substantial improvement over the original thing. Which typically, okay, if you look at my review, you think, 1 out of 10, that's terrible, and like that is. But I only say that because I can't go lower than a 1 out of 10. So I might say it's substantial, but like you look at it like my review on serializing, that's not really like that big of a difference. It's a lot more. It's a lot more than a few number difference or like a letter difference. You know, it's a lot more than that. I just have to give a. I have to give my review and my thoughts a vehicle and like a grade, so you can like at least like understand it more than just me talking about it for fucking what it's gonna be like 30 and under 30 minutes. Not another like a 30-minute episode or 40-minute episode, which might be what this is, maybe not. But yeah, Iron Man I like more than his first one because he has an actual personality. He has a character arc, multiple character arcs. I like him here. There are some things that I don't like. There are some things around this character that I don't like that I was talking about here. Iron Man had within this show, like within the season, they introduce things that on paper are maybe good, but they don't work within the context of the show because of the utter fucking terribleness of season one. Season one is a very cookie cutter, normal. Like it's Iron Man. It's a group of people around him, and he's kind of like it's just very like your usual superhero team, right? They don't have a problem. They don't have a problem. They don't have a problem with Iron Man. Iron Man doesn't have a problem with them. They don't have any issues within the team aside from the Hawkeye episode, which was still its own thing. It's just very like basic ass superhero team that you don't, not that you don't really care for. But like I guess like they don't try to make them more than just a superhero team that know each other and like each other and whatever. Aside from like the weird romance. But in this show, they want to make you think that Iron Man is a bad leader when it's never been shown in season 1 or like at any point. And the whole thing is like the whole thing like basically like, is a catalyst, or it's made to be, you're meant to see it as like this is the tipping point. This is the straw that broke the camel's back, the final nail in the coffin. When Iron Man fakes his death at the very beginning, doesn't tell his friends that he's not dead, so he can secretly take down the villain. And it's like, oh, like he didn't trust his friends to be like, well, I mean, I feel like Iron Man's in the right here. Like, it worked out in the end. It really, it did. It made it feel like it made it feel real, like, more real, and it caught the enemy by surprise. Like, sure, maybe Iron Man could trust his team more, but it worked out in the end. Like, I feel like I don't feel like he even thought. It's not like he like was a narcissistic person that only thought about himself. He thought about the good of the team and said, "Hey, if you know I'm alive, then like the enemy might know I'm alive too," and things like. And fun fact, like this happened in the first season, and they didn't have a fucking problem with that either. It's just like kind of like, what the fuck? Why is this a problem now, not like before? So the whole season wants to make you think that Iron Man's a bad leader, when in reality he isn't, and the whole show doesn't try to make you think like that. It's just the characters suddenly think that, and it's like, okay. And then when they come back, it's like, oh, Iron Man, you have to learn to not do things by yourself and shit. And it's like, okay, guys, I'll trust you. And it's like, this was never an issue. This is never an issue. The whole thing was like, oh, the whole thing was so, it's like that Iron Man did have like this. Their skills that the other time that Iron Man needed or were useful in the first season, and it's just like it's not even like not even like a thing, but like it's not just like it wasn't an issue. Like this issue wasn't prevalent at all, so I don't know why it is now. It's like, what the fuck? So it's like Iron Man has to learn to not do things himself, like by alone. It's just like, what the fuck? It's just it's purely unnecessary. But yeah. Anyways, there's that. That was something. Anyways, yeah, Iron Man is like fun. It's like a better character here, but like that whole arc about him not being a good leader is a bunch of bullshit. It really is. Next up is War Machine, and honestly, they do some interesting things with War Machine. He's not like completely like a complete rework like Iron Man. I feel like he's still. It's kind of like meh, but I do like that they try to flesh him out more than just being Iron Man's like sidekick and best friend and shit. Like they have the whole thing where he goes through a traumatic event. He has a traumatic event that affects him as a superhero, and he doesn't want to put on the War Machine armor, even though sometimes he just kind of says fuck it and puts it on anyways, and he says I'll never put that on again. And then he has to put it on again. It's like, come on, man. It's like, Aside from that, they don't do much with his character. I do like that he sticks around. I feel like he's like a good like character to have around, but I don't know. I feel like his like character's like quote unquote character arc it isn't even like all that really. It's just not. It's just like not really like fleshed out or anything. It's just kind of there, I guess. But yeah, there's War Machine. Not much to say there really. Less about Spider Woman, which is Spider Woman. I think it's my biggest problem about Spider Woman. At least in the first season, they made like it was like she was Spider Woman. She did Spider Woman shit, and here it's like I feel like they forget she's Spider Woman a lot of the time. Like she's usually like my biggest problem is that here she's more of a damsel in distress than anything. It's like why? Spider Woman's suits don't come from her like powers don't come from her like suit. I don't know. I was about to say her suits don't come from her powers. What the fuck? No, like a lot of her powers don't come from like her powers don't come from her suits. She is a superpowered individual. She has superpowers. She should not be in these fucking situations. Like she shouldn't be in these situations where she's powerless. That's just not her. It's just not her. Like why is she in so many situations? Is she in these situations? It's like the writers forget she's Spider Woman. She's like have to ignore she's Spider Woman so certain conflicts can actually happen because they need a damsel in distress. I feel like the fact that Iron Man is even like a romantic interest in this show is a super hard individual could be better used than just having her be just a damsel in distress. Like what the fuck? Why is she like this? She wasn't like the best character last season, but she was at least like a superhero. In here, she's like, what the fuck? What are you doing? My big complaints, like, why is she treated like this? She's a superhero. She should be able to get out of these situations. The only reason the writers didn't do that is because they needed a motivation for Tony Stark, and like, no, like, right around the issue, like, why, why? But yeah. Like Spider-Woman's a really big like issue here, like a really big like con for the show in general. It's just she's just not a good part of it. It's not good because of how the writers decided to write her. But yeah. Anyways, next up is the Mandarin, and honestly, I like what they did with the Mandarin here. There is an overarching plot around him and how he goes back to being the big bad of the show and all that, and I think he's fine. He's better because he's in less episodes, and you kind of feel like it's going to be something big when he shows up, and he shows up for the finale, and I feel like that's good enough, but you know, I just like it's just Mandarin is there, I guess. I like him better. I like the arc he goes through where he has to get back all the rings after being betrayed by Fin Fan Foom and shit. Like I like that. He's much more enjoyable in this season than the last. Since in here he's like a big threat, and in the last one it's just like he shows up every episode and he's a fucking fraud. Like come on, man. Whatever. What fucking ever. But yeah. And I can mention some other characters. Like, I like that they introduced more villains than just, like, the same fucking few every episode. Like, using the same ones every episode. Much better than, like, again, much better than last season. There's more villains, so it's a lot more interesting. They introduced their own type. They introduced their own original villain called Black Aegis. Or Aegis, I think that's how they say it in the show, that's something. You know, I don't think he's shown up again after this show, but he's there. I feel like he's somewhat interesting. So he's not a complete villain, but he just has like the worst ways of going over things. So yeah, I feel like he could be interesting if they ever like brought him back in any way. I'm not sure if they would, but he's there, I guess. Maybe there's some right issues with that since he was made for the show. Maybe like what I'm guessing happened. Maybe with this character, or maybe he's owned by Marvel now, or maybe like the company that made him, that's where his rights are. But then like the company like went under, so I don't know. I don't know like the rights revert back to Marvel at that point, but whatever. Yeah, there's some characters here, or some characters are a lot more that are just better than the last ones. And Hawkeye gets some treatment here, and I feel like he's the most interesting out of the Force Works, since, you know, he's the one that gets the most character, but the rest of them just kind of show up for the finale, and that's it. Like, come on. Really. Anyways, let's go into the plot. I want to mention, I like that it's an overarching plot. It reminded me a lot of the second season of X-Men, where we got the whole Savage Land plot line there. But what X-Men has over this show is that in this show, it's just kind of like one little tidbit of thing of something at the very end where Mandarin gets his ring and that's it. Then he goes on his merry way. It's like, meh. It's not as good because you don't see him you don't see it throughout the show progressing in any like meaningful way. It's just like he gets a ring and then that's it. Like, meh. Like I like it. That it builds on Mandarin as a threat, but aside from that, like, meh. The pacing's a lot better. Just it has a lot of more interesting like arcs with, again, Armor Wars. It has the one on the planet, the planet. There's the one with, I forgot his name, but like the one on the spaceship with AIM. There's a lot more interesting storylines here than just like one thing happens in one episode and that's it. And also here, episodes have actual they actually have like consequences and like things carry over between them. And something I actually really liked about this show is that it uses the fact Iron Man has multiple armors. Like in the first season, like it was just Iron Man had one armor. Sometimes he had the one where he could go underwater, but that was it. And here he uses like a fucking drill armor. He has one where it's like where he can go through magma, radiation armor, stealth armor. He has so much shit in this show, so it's very, very cool to see that. I feel like I misremembered something about the show when I was younger. I thought that the Silver Centurion armor was like used as a replacement for an armor at some point during the show. Maybe I'm misremembering something. Maybe I'm thinking of a different show. Maybe I'm just thinking of the comics, or that's what happened. But I distinctly remember the Silver Centurion armor being an armor that was used for a prolonged period of time during some form of animated content with Iron Man. So I don't know where that went. But yeah, no, like, I like that they used more of the armor. There's a lot more interesting storylines here. It's a much better pace. It's not as boring. I didn't want to pull my fucking hair out watching this fucking show. It was solid. It was like I honestly solid, but it was watchable. It was like digestible. Until the ending. The ending pissed me off, kind of, because it felt like such a regression from where the show went, like how the show was going. The ending is so quick. Like, it's 2 episodes, sure, but it's so quick. Like, Mandarin goes to the UN. He's like, "Oh, I have a plan for world peace," or whatever the fuck. He's like, "Oh." And some guy says, "Oh, let's hear him out." It's like, what the fuck? He's the Mandarin. Like, he's the Mandarin. Why would you want to hear him out? It's like, and he says, "I want to take over the world." It's like, fuck you. Fuck you. It's like, nah, I will. And Mandarin's like, "I will have my rule." And then he shuts off all the technology. I forgot to mention about the Mandarin. I don't like his, like, the retcon that they gave him. Because it's kind of stupid. In the first season, it's explained why he wants to go after Iron Man. That's because he wants the Iron Man armor. Or he wants like a weapon made by Tony Stark, and Tony Stark made Iron Man So now he's going after Iron Man for revenge and shit. In here, it's explained that Mandarin is just anti-technology, which is completely bullshit from like what we saw in the first season. In here, he has no technology because he was beaten and like he was sent back to nothing, and then he regains his power and shit. But where did you get this fucking asshole? He has like drones and a spy and a spy camera in the first season. Like he's super with technology, and he wants the Iron Man armor. So I don't know where this came from. But it's stupid. He shuts off all that stuff, and then our hero's like, fuck, now we can't use technology. And Iron Man's gonna die and whatever the fuck. It's like, okay, man. Okay, man. Sure. He hates technology. Let's go with that now. It's just and then like the ending of like it's just like, oh, like Iron Man, you've finally learned to trust your friends. It's like no. The ending just kind of comes out of nowhere, and sure, it was built up on, but it was just kind of like, why just why? Like, it was a better build up than when we got in season 1 of it with its ending and shit, but like I think at least with the ending of season 1, it was like built up on more than anything. Like it was not built on more, but it had like the same level of quality as the season itself. In here, it's like a substantial dip in quality than like what the season was before. Also, gotta say, I think these writers don't want to acknowledge that they have to continue on from season 1. They don't want to acknowledge the existence of season 1, and I totally get that, but you kind of have to. I'm not the one writing this show. I didn't write this show. I can ignore season 1 all I want. You guys are the ones that need to like. You guys are the ones that are writing it. You have to acknowledge it. So a lot of the show's conflicts come from just ignoring season 1. Like, I didn't mention Spider-Woman. I didn't mention a lot of the characters, really. And nothing interesting. But, like, Spider-Woman, a big thing is that, like, she, like, Tony left her at the altar, didn't marry her, it was kind of fake, it was all fake. But, like, yeah, the wedding was staged by you two to trick the Mandarin. And, like, you're trying to make an issue out of it, but it really isn't. Like, I don't know where this sentiment came from. It just came out of nowhere. Like they try to ignore it as much as they can within the season, and I get it. They probably looked at it and they said that this is fucking bull. Like, this is all doo-doo and shit. And I get it, but I don't know. It's a real detriment here because I feel like they could have gone in a better direction with making this show good, and I feel like they tried their best, but they did some missteps along the way. That just kind of like, I don't know, like it really hurt it. And one of the big missteps is there's a recap episode, like episode 23. So really not 23, like episode, what would that be? Episode like 10. I think would be like episode 10. I think the season's another 13 episodes, but the thing is on Disney Plus. It's divided by. It's not divided. It's all just one big season, but it's actually season 1, season 2, and that's what it is on serialized. It's divided into season 1 and season 2. I think it would be episode 10. It's a recap episode. It's like, why the fuck is there a recap episode? We don't need a recap episode, but there is, and it's just. MODOK and Mandarin going over the past few episodes with the rings, like, oh, what Iron Man developed now? It's like, what the fuck, man? Just what the fuck? We don't need this. We don't need this 10 episodes in, especially the villains finding out shit that we already know happened. It's like, come on. We really don't need this. So yeah. In conclusion, the second season of Iron Man is a massive improvement over the first season, and I would give it a C tier, but it has a lot of stuff going against it. That while still not a terrible watch, it has a lot of problems, and that's why I gotta give it a D tier. I told you guys I didn't think it was good. I might have praised it a little bit, but it's still below. I gave it on my review. I gave it a 4 out of 10, and that's like below average. I want to give it a 3. I don't think it's 3 out of 10 bad. But it is 4 out. It is 4 out of 10 bad. Let me tell you. That. But yeah, it's bad. But like they tried, so I gotta give them points for that. They made this horrible ass show legitimately one of the worst pieces of media I have ever seen. My eyes have ever seen. I wish I didn't have eyes for that fucking show, and they made it somewhat bearable. So kudos there. Anyways, what did you guys think about the second season of the Iron Man show? Leave in the comments below. Our 90s Iron Man show. There's better Iron Man shows out there. Leave in the comments below if you want to give us your feedback. You can like the episode or dislike the episode on YouTube, or rate us on Spotify. And if you want to follow us on any, if you want to stay up to date with our content, you can subscribe on YouTube or follow us on Spotify. And if you want to check out any of our other socials, including mine and whoever I'm sharing the episode with, they're on the description, including the review sites I've mentioned throughout the episode, including this Letterboxd, Serialized, Gameblog, Backlog, and Radio Music, where I post early reviews for stuff that I'm going to review on the podcast, or things that are related to things I'll review on the podcast. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.